Hello, welcome back to my corridors. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my corridors. So I have another concert story time for y'all. Y'all probably saw on my social media that I went to a local metal show. And I've been going to quite a few local metal shows because I like supporting local music, especially local metal bands, because they really need more appreciation. So the bands that I saw were Gravehuffer, Chief City, and Throes from a Star. Chief City is doom metal. Gravehuffer is like death metal, grindcore. Death Throes from a Star is what you call like doom gaze. It's like a mixture of doom metal and shoegaze. And I got lots of goodies, and I'd like to share my experience with y'all. So I worked, and then I came home and got ready. I had a quick little snack, and then went to my favorite record CD store just to kill time. So I went there, and I kind of went early. And this is so embarrassing. I can't even believe I did this, but you have to do what you have to do. So the doors weren't open yet. I guess they were going to open at exactly 8 when the concert said it was going to start. So I had to pee in a mop bucket. I have a mop bucket that I use for work because I'm a cleaning lady. That's what I do for my job. Whatever happens at a concert stays at a concert. But anyway, yeah, I had to urinate in a bucket because I couldn't hold it in anymore. But I couldn't help it, so that's why it happened. But anyway, I got in, and it was one of those gigs where you have to, it's like a $10 cover fee, and you pay $10, to be there, you know what I mean? According to Derek, those gigs don't pay very well from what I understand, but I wouldn't know, I'm not a musician. But anyway, I got there and I got a Diet Coke to drink and just sat on my phone just because the concert started like at least 30 or 40 minutes after I walked in. I actually saw the members of Gravehuffer in the little restaurant area. This was like a little restaurant where we were, and this is probably the smallest venue I've ever been to. I was going to go up and talk to them, but I didn't want to be like, you're Gravehuffer, because last time I was with Horse Burner, and also I am kind of shy, unless it's like a band I really, really loved. Yeah, I'm probably not going to like casually go up to them, because at first I was like, I did kind of recognize them. It was one of their members that I remembered from their social media, but I just wasn't exactly sure, because I didn't take the time to memorize the faces of these bands. But anyway, but Horse Burner, I definitely took the time to memorize. Unfortunately, the rest, these bands I saw like a couple days ago, no, I didn't. So yeah, I walked around and looked at the merch booth, and it was very organized. I got a bunch of stuff, and I'll tell y'all as much as I remember. So the members of Gravehuffer were there. I'm like, oh, don't mind me, I'm just looking. And they're like, oh, right, no, you're fine. And I saw them, I'm like, I think y'all follow my Instagram. He's like, and one of them's like, yeah, you definitely look familiar. And I'm like, well, you look familiar. So they introduced themselves to me, and I introduced myself. I said, I was going to introduce myself at first, but I'm kind of shy. And they're like, that's okay, we are too. And it kind of made me feel good. Before the show started, I did get to talk to other people. I was outside, and I guess this guy, like, he was attending the show, and he had a dog, and the dog was very friendly. The dog didn't come inside. I don't know where the dog went, but I guess he was walking his dog. I don't know if he lived in the neighborhood, but it was like near a neighborhood. It was near a church where this venue was. So the guy was walking his dog, and the dog came up to me, and I pet it, and it was very friendly. And I'm like, are you here for the show? He's like, yeah. And he introduced himself to me. I think his name was Spud. He was just a guy going to the show, and I introduced myself. And after I met the members of Gravehuffer, I sat down, drank my Diet Coke, and this guy comes up to me. He sees my vest. He's also wearing a vest. I'm revamping my vest for the umpteenth time. I actually had a reason, because I removed the possessed patch, because y'all probably have heard the allegations against Jeff Becerra, which unfortunately were true, and I don't want to associate myself with him or possessed anymore, as I hate to say that. because Seven Churches is a really good album, but unfortunately I've decided to cut ties with Possessed because of that. Maybe I'll sit down and talk about that, because because Possessed, like, Jeff did follow my Instagram, like, and he did message me, but he didn't say anything creepy. But I would like to one day sit down and talk about that, but not right now. But I also, like, wanted to revamp it because, like, I have terrible OCD when it comes to my vest, and I really just wanted to edit it. The front is done. I'm currently working on the back. But anyway, so yeah, a guy comes up to me. He's like, probably, maybe he's 30s, 40s, maybe. I'll take a guess he's at least 35. He sees my typo negative patch and he compliments, and he's like, I have the same patch. And I'm like, oh yeah, it is the same patch. And we're talking about our vest. He kind of just started his vest. I've, like, been revamping it for like 6-7 years now. And I noticed he had a Black Tusk patch on, because y'all know I've been into Black Tusk lately, and I've, like, started to explore the sludge metal genre, and I really love sludge metal. And I was wearing my Black Tusk long sleeve, and I pointed it out. He introduced himself to me. I think his name was Jason, and I introduced myself, and we shook hands. And everyone was nice enough to shake hands. And everyone there was just so friendly, and they were so nice and so polite, and it made me feel really good. I've started to go to shows by myself, and sometimes I'm a little shy to talk to people, but it'll be okay at a metal show. But anyway, the show started, and there were a decent amount of people there. It wasn't too crowded, but there were a decent amount of people going. So the first band that played was Chief City, the doom metal band. They're from Vicksburg. They're from here in Mississippi. I thought Vicksburg was far away, but it's actually only not even an hour away from where I live, so maybe one day I can go visit. They only have one album, and I bought it from the merch booth. I don't know if this has a title, but I love the album artwork. Yeah, that looks very doom metal-ish, Chief City. And there's not many songs off of this album, but they're very good. And I do highly recommend them, because Mississippi is very overlooked when it comes to doom metal. There are quite a few doom metal bands here, and just metal bands in general, and I wish that the world kind of acknowledged it more. Here's a picture of all their members. I think maybe one of them wasn't there. Yeah, no, one of them wasn't there, but, like, it was like these three. And I'll get back to that in a little bit. So they had a really good sound, and they sounded exactly the way they did in the recording studio when they recorded their music, and it was very good. I'm trying to put the CD back in. But anyway, yeah, just type in Chief City and you'll find them, or look up their Instagram, Chief City Vicksburg, and they're really good. I highly recommend them. They sound definitely like a doom metal band. They're mostly instrumental, but they do have, like, growly vocals. After their performance, I talked to their members and I complimented them, and I wanted to buy the CD. And so their bass player, her name is Gina. She helped me get the CD, and I used Cash App to pay for it. And I talked to her, and she was really nice. I got a picture with her, as y'all could see, and I'll probably post in the YouTube community about it. Let me check my battery, just making sure I have enough battery. And I asked her, what's Vicksburg like? And she told me it's not as big as Jackson, but the people there are very nice. And I kind of briefly told my story. I'm a former military kid. I was born in Jackson, but moved back and lived around the world. She's like, yeah, I understand. I was an Army brat, so it made me feel good knowing another military kid. Yeah, I got a picture with her, and I'll post that later onto the YouTube community, but y'all who follow my Instagram have probably already seen it. I also did get to talk to their singer too. His name was Jordan, and he's also the bassist for Throes from a Star, and they were the final band, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So Gravehuffer played next, and they had a really good crowd, really good sound, and I did recognize some of their songs from what I heard. This was the album that introduced me to them, and I bought this. It was $5 at the show, and I paid for it with cash, whatever I had left. Yeah, if y'all love Napalm Death, I think y'all will love Gravehuffer. They're so good. They're from Missouri. They're from the city of Joplin. I highly, highly recommend them. And they had a good crowd. I was banging my head, and I'm still feeling it in my neck a little bit. And I was banging my head during Chief City's set. But yeah, no, Gravehuffer, that was the band that I was like really urgent to see because like they're a death metal band, and you know, how often does a death metal band come to Jackson? They probably do. It's just more like the local underground bands that need more appreciation. Like I said, Mississippi's very overlooked when it comes to that. But anyway, you know, I just got the Gravehuffer CD. I wanted to get a shirt, but I don't know if they had Cash App. They may not have, or Venmo or whatever. And I had a $5 bill to pay for the CD, but yeah, this is really good. They had, all the bands had like shirts, stickers, pins. Chief City had a long sleeve shirt, but I thought about getting it, but you know, I really just wanted the CD. That's the one I really wanted. I like physical media when it comes to like music stuff. I thought about getting the CD, or excuse me, about getting the long sleeve, but I changed my mind. And it's okay. Maybe, hopefully they have Bandcamp, and maybe I can get the long sleeve. But anyway, you know, Gravehuffer set was really good, and they did have a tiny bit of a little bit of a mosh pit, and naturally I freak out because, like I said, I almost got dragged into a mosh pit when I saw Death Angel the first time, and that kind of freaked me out. Oh, and the Jason guy with the vest, he complimented my Death Angel pin, and I told him I made it. I made a lot of the pins, and he was pretty amazed. Yeah, no, it wasn't too much of a mosh pit, but you know, I headbanged, and they were really, really good. I highly recommend them. So later I went to the merch booth to go get the CD, and I talked to Gravehuffer, and I got a picture with them. The Jason guy took our photo. There were 2 photos of us. I guess he took 2 because I you know, naturally sometimes people want to take a second photo just because. You know, I have a picture with Gravehuffer, and I got to talk to them. I asked, what's Missouri like? So I didn't realize it's above Arkansas. I did not realize that. I don't know the U.S. map very well. But I don't think a lot of people do anymore. They don't teach that in school anymore, I don't think. But I could be wrong. When I went to private school, they taught it, but no, public schools typically don't teach that anymore, and I go figure. But anyway, that's not the point. But you know, I asked them what Missouri's like, and I told them, you know, this was the album that introduced me to them. And they're like, oh, right on. And I told them, yeah, no, I like going to local metal shows, and I always want to check out the band before I go. And I told Chief City the same thing, and they really appreciated that I liked their album, their debut album. And they really appreciated that. And I'll get back to them in a little bit. You know, Gravehuffer really appreciated that I took the time to like look them up before them, and they even followed my Instagram. And they really, yeah, no, they really appreciated it. And I remember their names. I had to ask a couple times. So it's Todd, Richie, and I think Wes. I think that's their names. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, I think that's their names, yeah. No, yeah, Todd and Richie and Wes, yeah. They do have a main vocalist. His name is Travis, but he couldn't make it to the show. So Todd was like coming in and doing the vocals for him, so I thought that was cool. I'm glad they didn't cancel their show because of that. You know, I talked to them, and they were so nice. Like I said, everyone was so polite there, and it made me feel good. And typically, a lot of like metal band members are very nice, and like metalheads, like the metalheads in general that I've met just happen to be super nice. Maybe I'm just lucky and I haven't met any bad metalheads. I'm not talking about elitist. Like mean metalheads I really haven't met, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just lucky. You know, I shook their hands and I said, y'all were really great. Hopefully I'll see y'all again. Yeah, and I got a picture, and like I said, I'll post that onto the YouTube app later. So in between the set, Gina, the bassist of Chief City, came up to me, and she was like, and she and Jordan were like giving me a bunch of free stuff, like the stickers. This is like for Pulp Fiction, and they gave me a patch for free. They really appreciated that I was interested in them, like. And I was like, y'all are giving me such free stuff, and they're like, well, you're nice. They're like, you're really nice. But you know, Gina came up to me and she was interested in my vest because I told her about it. I told her how I've been working on my vest for like multiple times, and I'm like revamping it for the umpteenth time. And they gave me a pin too, and I put it on my vest. Maybe I'll show later. It's just their logo, Chief City, but it's not in a pin form. I don't know. I don't think I'll be able to put this on my vest, but I can put it on my suitcase. I can cut it up and put it on my suitcase because I would really like to show my support for local metal music. And I told them, you know, I asked, what are y'all some of inspirations? And I couldn't remember all of it, but they definitely said one of them was Weed Eater. And I never take the time to listen to Weed Eater. I need to. I hear they're really good, and I love doom metal. Most of y'all could figure that out, but hopefully one day I'll get into them. I do want to see them in El Paso. I want to go visit Derek, and they're going to be with Napalm Death and Melvins, and I really want to see them. So maybe, hopefully, maybe if I get the chance, I can go visit Derek, and we can go see them together. I've been really wanting to go, and I don't want to miss out on seeing Napalm Death and Melvins. But anyway, I think I could be wrong, but it was just like the way that Gina and Jordan were talking. And I think they might be together, but I could be wrong, and it's really probably none of my business. But it's just like I saw them holding on to each other during Gravehuffer's set, and I'm like, okay, yeah, they're together. But I could be wrong, and it's just I could kind of figure it out. But yeah, you know, she was like telling me she wanted to start a vest, and I gave my unbiased advice the best I could. And I love how people are really appreciative of my vest, and it makes me feel really good. So the last band to play was Throes from a Star, and their music is instrumental, and I got a couple stickers for them. They were free. They're really good. If y'all like the ambient, like experimental music, I think y'all would like them. Their music, like, it was so relaxing to listen to. Death Rose from a Star, and they ended up following my Instagram too. They're what you call doom and shoegaze, doomgaze, or at least I consider them that because they've got the doom metal sound along with the shoegaze and ambient sound. And it was so soothing to listen to, and it made me feel like I was ascending. I wish this band had gone on longer, but it didn't, but that's okay. Do check out all these bands, Gravehuffer, Chief City, and Death Rose from a Star. I'll leave in the description of links for these bands so y'all can listen and check them out. But anyway, they were really good. Yeah, all three of them were really good, and hopefully maybe one day I'll see them again. Originally, this punk band called Die With Nature, I think they're also from Mississippi too, another local band. They're a sludge punk band. They were going to be there, but unfortunately, they said one of their members got sick and they couldn't make it, and that's okay. All three bands put on an amazing performance. Okay, so at the end of the set, I wanted to properly say goodbye to them and not walk out the back door and sneak out. But you know, I said, y'all were so amazing, and I shook their hands. I'm going to go home now. It was nice meeting you, and they're like, nice meeting you too. Thank you for coming out. And they really appreciated that, and I said goodbye to Jason, the metalhead, who I met. Earlier during the set, I'm probably gonna go to Waffle House after this show, and he fist bumped me, and I'm like, maybe I'll see fights, and they're like, yeah, you'll probably see him, and I'm like, I thought that was a myth that Waffle House starts fights, so I did go to Waffle House. If y'all are wondering, I have like friends from the UK and Australia and people outside the US, so I don't know if they have Waffle House, but for those who don't know, who are outside the US, It's a breakfast chain, and they're open typically 24 hours. There's this thing about how people go in there and start fights. I I took that with a grain of salt because every time I go to Waffle House, there I don't see any fights, and their food is hella cheap. It's really good. Just whatever you see at a breakfast chain, like they have, their waffles are amazing, and their food is typically very affordable. So after the show, I went to Waffle House and ate because I was hungry and I didn't want to fall asleep while driving. Um, but yeah, most people who live in the U.S. know about Waffle House. But I like Waffle House also because there's a picture of Chuck from Death going to Waffle House and wearing those funny paper hats, and I want one so bad. I wish I could find one. The Waffle Houses I go to typically don't have them, so I'll have to order one online. Um, yeah, no, do go to Waffle House if any of you ever visit the U.S. No, I didn't see any fights. And I went home and I got plenty of rest and I feel kind of good. But I had a very good time, and this was a really good memory that I had. And this was another show that was just perfect, had nothing wrong go on, and I'll never forget it. And I really like supporting local music, like local metal bands, because it makes me feel good. But yeah, check out Gravehuffer, Cheap City, and Death Throes from a Star. They're all so good. Definitely listen to them. They all need recommendations. And Chief City and Death Rose from a Star were actually featured in the Weedian magazine. I even brought that up to them too, to Gina and Jordan. And yeah, they were familiar because I even told them, yeah, Mississippi is just so overlooked when it comes to doom metal or metal in general. But anyway, yeah, I'll definitely go to more local shows. And of course, like if any big band comes here, yeah, I'll definitely see them. Anyway, I think that's it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Support me on social media, and I'll see y'all later, and stay metal.